Villainous by It's _ Kingston on AO3. Episode 9. Chapter 8. Murder. Hey, where are you going? Toga called out once they reached the end of the alley. Ochako jumped slightly, startled by the sudden noise. It was obvious that someone was living in the area, upon closer inspection. Drying clothes hung from the line between the windows, held in place by rocks. Ochako noticed a dim light flickering out when Toga called for the preparator, but the blonde didn't seem to. Was this a test? Maybe. It was better to be safe. Ochako tapped Toga on the shoulder and pointed towards the boarded-up door that the light had shone through. Speaking of light, Ochako wondered how Toga could see so well and navigate them through the alley with such little light. Ochako had been squinting to make out shapes by the moon's steadying glow. Maybe she was right about her previous guess. Toga had eyes similar to a cat's. I saw a light go out over there. Ochako elaborated quietly, still pointing towards the pitch-black window. Good job, Toga whispered back, making her way over to the door. She didn't make a sound as she walked, shifting through pools of moonlight with a predator-like gauze. The blonde was reminding Ochako more and more of a cat the longer she was around. The hero in training hadn't moved from her spot, scared to make a noise and blow her partner's cover. Wait, were they partners? Ochako watched Toga slipped into a broken window, glass shards faintly rattling remaining the only sound for a short while. A shrill scream came from inside, and Ochako bolted towards the door on reflex, almost to be knocked down by Toga. The hero quickly backed up and examined the blonde for any visible wounds. Toga seemed to notice this and smiled. That wasn't me. She stepped further out the door, making the thing she was dragging behind her visible in the dim light. It was a person, an older woman, with salt and peppered hair. Toga held her by the back of the leather jacket, and although her hands weren't restricted, the woman seemed too afraid to do anything. She screamed when I grabbed her. Toga giggled, smiling like a child who just successfully told a joke. Oh. Ochako wasn't sure how to take the slight morbid statement. She looked towards the cowering woman, who watched Toga with a fearful gaze. Okay, I did the hard part and dragged her here. I'll get the money, you take care of her, Toga said, lightly pushing the woman towards Ochako. The light shove wasn't out of regard to the woman, but so she wouldn't knock Ochako down, and grant the woman a chance to escape. What does that mean? Ochako gulped. She knew, but she hoped it was some alternate, peaceful solution. Kill her, slit her throat, stab her through the heart, bash her head in, whatever you think is the fun way, Toga said before spinning around and heading back inside. Just make it quick, we still have to get money back to Jin and Dobby tonight. Any chance I can go find the cash? Ochako hesitantly asked, gripping the collar of the woman's jacket tightly, her heart pounding with anxiety, stomach knotting and turning itself inside out as she waited for the blonde's answer. Huh? Toga appeared back in the window, confusion etched on her face. Why? I don't want to kill someone, Ochako said. She was scared to meet Toga's eyes, but did so anyways. She regarded the hero with a look of mild enjoyment, like a lion would look to its dinner. Why not? The blonde hopped back down through the window, approaching the pair. She seemed more curious than malice as she stopped beside Ochako, still waiting for an answer. I just don't want to end someone's life. The hero managed to choke out, terrified of what was going to happen to the woman. The blood rushed past her ears with what felt like force to burst her eardrums as she waited and waited. Toga was silent for a creepily long moment, plugging the bally back into its deathful silence. Her hand found its way to her pocket, digging for something. With her left hand, she pulled out a small, shiny knife that rested snug in her palm. Ochako's eye widened, and she felt the surge of adrenaline as she balled her empty hands, ready to fight the villain. She wouldn't go down without a fight. Instead, Toga grabbed her wrist and offered the knife. Here, it's all right. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Do it quick and it'll be over. The elderly woman met Ochako's eyes as Toga spoke, silently begging the hero to let her live. I'm gonna go inside and grab the money. If you haven't done it by then, you're gonna have to call it quits on the league. Toga cut her off, her voice leveled as she went back to the door. Of course that means I'll have to kill you too, since you know too much. The blonde chuckled before heading inside, leaving Ochako alone with the woman. Please, the woman spoke for the first time since they arrived. I have a family. I need the money for my daughter's medicine. She's sick. Ochako felt her heart shatter as she listened to her begging. The hero had also grown up with nothing, and she knew that her parents had to borrow money from shady people just to survive another month or make sure the bills were paid. Her eyes teared up as she stared at the knife, debating the consequences of each action she should take. Ochako needed this. If she let the woman run, or didn't kill her, Toga would kill the hero, then probably the woman too. Either way, this woman would be a casualty of the war against the villains. Or at the very least, if Ochako killed this woman, she'll still be able to infiltrate the league. This was the right thing to do, right? It had to be. The woman fell backwards as Ochako slowly raised the knife to her throat. A small cloud of dirt spread through the air as the woman hit the ground, scrambling backwards. Damn it! Where did she put that money? Toga grumbled, running out the door. Hold on, she called to Ochako, who almost had the knife at the woman's neck. Huh? Ochako seemed to snap out of her dazed-like state, instantly repulsed by her own behavior. She was going to kill that woman. Glad you haven't offed her yet. Toga stopped beside them, holding her hand out towards Ochako. After a moment, the hero realized Toga wanted the knife she held, and she slipped it into her hands. Within a second, the knife was to the woman's throat. Okay, listen. I just want the cash. If you tell me where it is, you live. And if you don't lie to me, I'll let you keep a few thousand. How's that sound? The villain smiled. The woman nodded as best as she could, with the knife so close to her. You'll let me live if I tell you. Of course, I just need the money back, Toga said calmly, sliding the knife back into her pocket and holding her hand up harmlessly. And I'll let you keep some. I just need most of it. Okay, I'll show you. The woman replied quickly, before heading back into her house, with Toga following behind her. Ochako sighed, with relief. She wouldn't have to kill that woman, and she'll get to keep some of the money for her daughter's medicine until she could get back on her feet. This all ended pretty perfect. Toga came out first, right hand clasped tightly around the straps of a dirty duffel bag that she tossed on the ground beside Ochako. In her left hand was the woman's jacket. She had been dragged out in a scene almost exactly like the previous time, except now the woman was fumbling for her words as she spoke to Toga. I showed you where the money was. What are you doing? I helped. The woman struggled to keep her balance as Toga pushed her to the ground beside the wall. I thought it was obvious that I was lying. Toga giggled before turning to Ochako. I got the cash. She buried it out back. I had to dig it up. Ochako felt the guilt bubble in her throat and hardly trusted herself to speak. Despite the fact that she hadn't said anything, she felt responsible for the woman's fate in some strange way. It wasn't her fault that Toga lied, nor was it the woman who stole the money. Ochako had just been a bystander in this, so why did she feel so responsible for this woman's misery? You're right, little hero, Toga called, looking over at Ochako with a joyful sort of curiosity. The latter nodded, giving her best fake smile, which caused Toga to laugh. That's not convincing at all. I don't think so. Ochako dryly laughed, not very amused by her own guilt. I'm fine, just... Toga prompted after a moment of silence, causing Ochako to shrug. Not sure. The gravity hero knew exactly how she felt. Guilty, responsible, scared like there was too much weight that had been left on her shoulders. The weight was destined to crush her no matter how long she stalled, as if no one would help her lift it. But heroes didn't complain, and Ochako supposed villains wouldn't either, so she didn't. Well then, she grabbed the dusty bag and handed her knife back to Ochako. Finish the job while I count the cash over. Need to make sure we got all of it before heading it back over, or Jin will throw a fit. Ochako didn't want to take the knife, but it was already in her hand before Toga even finished talking. Hey, wait. Ochako's voice came out as squeaky in the dark alley. Toga turned around, looking slightly annoyed with the hero who wouldn't do her part of the job. What? Toga asked, dropping the duffel bag beside the wall against the woman. You know, I've never, ended anyone's life, not even an animal. I'm not really sure, Ochako said, hoping Toga would have the mercy on her and do it herself. She's gonna die either way. What difference does it make if it's me or you? Toga started emptying the bag. Apparently Ochako had said that last part aloud. Besides, you need to get used to it if you're gonna join the league. You've killed bugs before, right? Just do it like that. Or birds. I got a bird when I was little, she said. Ochako looked towards the woman, whose eyes were glued on Ochako's. She shook her head lightly, clasping her hands together in a praying motion. The gravity hero breathed deeply, her eyes shaking as she tried to gather her courage. She needed to do this. Imagine what would happen if she didn't take down the league from the inside. Thousands or hundreds would die. If she could stop that by taking the life of one, shouldn't she? But this wasn't right. There was nothing heroic about killing someone to stop the death of others. This woman had a family that wouldn't think it was fair that she died, rather than those thousands. If Ochako took the woman's life, then what would her own family say? They would be disappointed or proud of the hero? To kill one person to save the lives of many others, was it right? Was it what a hero should do? Okay, I cut it off there because I feel like that's the best place to cut it off. Probably not. Probably a place earlier down the line. But I'm sick, and that's where my voice allows me. In fact, I am straining my voice right now. It hurts like hell, and I need a break. So, yeah. This was interesting. The trolley question is always one of my faves. I mean, like, it's a morally gray area. It's why it's called morally gray. I love morally gray because, in reality, there is no right or wrong answer. I mean, morally speaking, on an ethical basis, yes, killing someone, no matter what, is bad. But there's circumstances, there's context. When you put the context, it's like, okay, one for thousands? And in this instance, it's even more, complex because it's not just killing one life for the lives of 1,000 more people, right? Because it's not just going to be that one life that dies between here and the league, being taken care of. It's going to be more. It's going to be vastly more. It's and the thing is, yes, she could kill this person, but that does not mean that thousands of others won't die. She is killing that person for the possibility of thousands of people not dying, for the possibility of the league getting captured. That's the big difference. The possibility. Because it's not 100% sure. You are gambling with a person's life. And now that leads more towards the, but like you can't really do it, right? Like that's morally incorrect, morally unjust. But add this nuance. If she doesn't do it, it's her life that gets killed. And the woman's. Right? And that's an 100% sure. Right? Toga already knows that, yeah, there's literally no way. Like, she tried to hit Toga once, and that shit didn't work out. Probably not gonna work out. Toga will die. I mean, not Toga. Ochako will die if she doesn't kill this person now. That's the big thing. And it is super nuanced, super cool, and I love gray areas like this. Gray areas like this are my lifeline. They're my everything, and I love them so much. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.